Hey guys, it is Citra here again with another Runecraft 2.13 preview, or more likely Runecraft 101. We are going to be looking at one of the staples of Runecraft today, the Faith Rune. Now, what does the Faith Rune do? Well, a lot of you will probably have seen examples of this before, so I will just quickly demonstrate to you what a small Faith Island does. I'm going to set the pattern as tier 1, and then I'm going to use the signature block as tier 1 as well, and I'm going to hit it. And what that does is that takes a chunk of land, floats it up into the sky. It's a sphere of land, not an island, so if there were blocks within the sphere above it, then it would grab those two. The first tier, which I will quickly redraw, which is in this case cobblestone, and denotes the radius of the rune. And the second tier, which doesn't have to be the same, denotes the height of the rune. That is to say, how high up in the sky it takes. So I'm going to show you all the various combinations thereof. As a quick note for those who are need to know this thing, the center of the island focuses on this torch here, or rather the top tier block. That is the center of the Faith Island. We can see here that the radius of the first tier 1 island was 4 plus 1, 4 either way, so for simplicity's sake it has a radius of 4, a diameter of 9. So let's go make another tier island. Let's make it tier 2, throw down the gold, and we'll make it tier 2 height, this one as well. Off we go. There we go. Okie dokie, note the significantly increased height that we were before. We are now just at the cloud level, and there is our tier 1 island below. This particular one's radius is, there is the center, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, radius of 6 for tier 2. The reason I'm digging it one down is because I've noticed that generally putting an extra layer into the Faith Island, because the height, the center is here. If the center was here, and the ground level, if the center was there and the ground level was 2 below, then you'd be missing a fair amount of the Faith Island. The radius of this one is tier 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for tier 3. Now for tier 4, and the interesting elements about tiers 4, 5 and 6 is that they are all the same radius. I believe when I was talking to Llama about this, that when Faith was invented, there were technical restrictions with making it higher, making it wider. So that's why tier islands are the Faith Islands are the radius they are today. So tier 4, excelente. This one I already know has a radius of 11, but I will count that out for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, oh, radius 11 plus the center block, that makes sense. Oh my, I thought I had gotten everything wrong. So tiers 5 and 6 are all exactly the same radiuses as before. However, we don't know the heights for tier 5. You can't use gold. There's a special thing that prevents you using gold as tier 5, but most people would use obsidian anyway. So tier 5 and tier 5. Let's rock that. Note that the oh, they connect perfectly. So it looks like tier 5 is the same height-wise as the other tiers. Our height is 209. That is the height we are on here. So it may in fact be that tier 6 is the exact same as well. However, one thing to note about tier 6 is that you can't use diamond blocks to trigger tier 6 Faith, and that is because there are specific coding elements that block the movement of diamond blocks. Diamond blocks have never been able to move. They're like a dimensional anchor, if you will. So there's no way, really, unless we alter a tier value to do that, but to work out the radius and the height. But I have done that in the past, and I know that they're the same. So there's only one other thing to demonstrate to you, and this isn't possible in vanilla Runecraft Minecraft, but many servers do have a situation where you can reset the end and that would allow for the acquisition of multiple dragon eggs. So, presuming you could get tier 7, what do we get for that? Put in the tier 7 height as well. Takes a while to think this one through. Boom, there we go. Nope, my eggs have been... These are not PCs, what I've been summoning or not summoning, as the case may be. So, note here that we have a bigger island and that we're also slightly higher up. I believe tier 7 makes it so the top of the island touches the top of the map, whereas the other ones will all set the center of the island on whatever level that is. So, what is the radius of a tier 7, a dragon tier, Faith Island? 1, central. Radius 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So that is a total of 4 blocks more diameter than standard high tier Faith Island. One thing I neglected to mention is what happens when you use a tier 0 height block. And that is something that is new with 2.13, that is why part of the reason I am covering that. Mostly for the dragon eggs and the new aspect. If I make a tier 7 island again, but with no tier block on it, the center is still going to be on the... hang on, I'll just put a stone block. Yes, so if I activate this, the center of the island is still going to be on that stone block, but when I activate it, note that the island doesn't move. This is still... you can now use Pegasus or FTP runes on this island, but it doesn't move it, and it doesn't do any of the collision checking that the other ones do. So that is really useful if you have something already that you wish to move, and you don't want to risk messing up the redstone and its oak. So one of the things people have issues with Faith is that you can get some pretty obscure error messages, and it's not always clear what they mean. So I'm going to go through... oh, hello. I'm going to go through the 4 that I know about and what they mean. The first one is this one. That was previously, this land cannot go any further. This is what happens when you try and use a Faith rune inside the radius of a Faith Island. If I did it on the edge, then I would, like, outside the Faith Island, then I would be able to grab part of the Faith Island and go shooting upwards with it. But if the center of the Faith Island is within another Faith Island, that's the error message you get. Okie dokie, so I've put a column of blocks 6 up. That is out with the radius of a tier 1 Faith Island, and this is going to replicate the error message, or isn't it? Oh, of course, these torches are distorting the pattern. The top ring does need to be clear, so your Faith is not strong enough to break the ceiling. That is because there are blocks directly above the center of the Faith rune, and I think it doesn't matter at what point those blocks occur, whether they're within or without the Faith Island. Yes, if it's directly above the Faith Island center, you'll get the message about there being a ceiling. Okay, and by far the most common error that you get is that your Faith is not strong enough to pass the obstacles. That occurs whenever there is a block between the Faith Island's sphere of effect and the top of the destination. So if I were to put leaf blocks on top of the edges here, or any form of block really, it would even work with torches. So I'll activate this, and forgetting the redstone there was messing up the pattern. Your Faith is not strong enough to pass the obstacles. Now you don't get any feedback about what is causing this, so my general advice to you is when just moving land, always make sure that this torch here is on level, if not above the ground level. And furthermore, that, what is the other thing? Never do this in a snowy biome, because snow is horrible in terms of trying to find out what block is messing up your Faith Island. So I'll smash these, and then I'll just Faith up, and there you go, Faithed it up, no problems, no collision. Alright, now, one of the error messages that you are quite likely to encounter is a message about having a greedy request. Now, diamond blocks will always cause this, and that is because they are kind of like a dimensional anchor. A lot of the time, chests and furnaces will also cause this, but not in runes like FTP and Pegasus, which I will cover shortly. Doors will trigger that as well, as will signs. And the latter two is mostly technical constraints because not really possible to place doors without strangeness happening. Likewise with other things as well. But diamonds, just because they are dimensional anchors. So you will not be able to move these things at the moment, but maybe one day you will be able to. We can already move chests and furnaces using FTP and so forth, which you couldn't before. If you want to get around this problem, the simplest solution is to knock off the top tier block and get your Faith Island that way. This, I think, has been a very effective introduction to the Faith Rune, what it is for and how it works. There are 3 or 4 in fact, follow-up runes that I'm going to be doing shortly, the Pegasus and the FTP rune and the Faith Point, and these all will cover how you can move Faith Islands once they're up in the sky. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Cheers.